Are y'all ready? It's time.
Woo! Happy New Year! OMG. I am so excited. Y'all, we made it. We made it to see another year. Isn't God amazing? I'm so grateful that I have life and opportunity to say Happy New Year, Mama Sue's family. It's so great to get to see everybody, giving a shout out to everybody that's already dropped your name in the chat. Hello, Lori and Pastor Marilyn and Mimi, Dallas in the house. Good evening, Linda. And let me see, Brenda, Ambassador English, everybody that's on with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and share so we can increase our audience reach. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching in real time because that means so much to me that you punch a big old hole in your schedule and come in here every first and third Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. And of course, you know I have to give a shout out to all of the WJIL Today listeners. Yes, for those of you that watch the recorded broadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on WJIL.today. Oh, shout out to you and Happy New Year. For those of you that haven't caught it yet, if you want to watch it on those platforms, it is on WJIL.today Gospel Radio, and it's also on their Roku and Fire Stick television channels. And I'm excited about that. We get an opportunity to share what we're doing and have it be all over the world because there are listeners in various places that get to hear what we have going on in Midland, America. And I'm just really excited about that. For all of you that are watching tonight, be sure and drop your name in the chat so we'll know you're there and we'll give you a shout out a little bit later. While we're at that, let me tell you what I've got going on. I want you all to come on and roll with me now because I have a lot going on. Of course, Miss Annie is still available. Wonderful children's book. And you can pick it up via my website at www.sueroseberry.com. And I'll be glad to send it your way. I'll even autograph it. And when you get the book, with every single book, You can download an audio file free of charge that will have me singing the story. And there's even a version for you to sing along with. So please go ahead and get that via my website. And then on tomorrow, the first Tuesday, listen, I'm going to be at the Southeast Senior Center, woo, in Midland, Texas. And everybody that's in the vicinity that would like to have some uplifting, inspirational singing, you know where we are. So come on and join us. We'll be there at 10 o'clock a.m. for the senior sing along. And then we will also, for those of you that are not in the vicinity and in the area, just tune in around 10:30 ish, and on my Facebook page right here, I'll go live and you'll get an opportunity to hear the scintillating seniors and the vivacious elderly singing wonderful music that will uplift your day. And we love having you tune in with us. Well, it's the beginning of another year, and I'm accepting bookings and dates. So if you'd like to have me come to your area, it's an easy thing to do. All you got to do is call me and let's make it happen. Or you can reach out to me via my website at www.sueroseberry.com, and we'll just bring all that God has allowed me to do creatively right to where you are, whether it's singing, speaking engagements, workshops, storytelling, concerts, whatever it is. I'm glad and delighted to use my talents and ministry gifts to be able to share with all of you. So give me a call and we can make it happen. Well, I am so excited because tonight I have one of the most phenomenal young men on the planet on my show. What? Uh, Let me calm down, because he is so innovative. He's so creative. I'm going to give you his bio and tell you about him, and we're going to talk to him right after this. Whoa, there you go.
Advertise with us and let Mama Sue's family know what you've got going on. Email us at msroscbe2 at gmail.com.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, the opportunities that I have via this platform is a chance to introduce some wonderful people I know to some other wonderful people that I know. And this wonderful gentleman that I know, I met some time ago, and I've known of him and about him for many, many years. He grew up here in Midland, America, as I always like to say. I worked with his father for many years at Atlantic Richfield, and he was always regaling us with stories about his fab three sons who are so athletic and so smart and so wonderful. And then, of course, we heard about them because they were reported about in the sports section of our newspaper. But this young man has gone on to add his talents to our community in a few special ways, to share his gifts as a mentor through an organization and business that he has created, and also as a member of our local government. So he is the district councilman for District 2 here in Midland. And so I want you to give a great big Mama Sue's family welcome to John Norman.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Moments with Mama Sue. I'm so glad that you were able to join us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for having me.
Well,
It's-
absolutely.
I'm very appreciative.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about about you being homegrown, because a lot of people have never been to Midland. And when they do come to Midland, they experience culture shock. But you grew up here, and so there was an opportunity for you to leave and go away, but you decided to really make Midland home and then even raise your family here. So, talk about what Midland means to you and what it's meant to you to grow up in Midland, America.
Yeah, so I do have a kind of a unique story. Um, Growing up in Midland, it was a small town. Um, it had a small town feel. We would be playing in the streets on the other side of town and be walking home back to the east side of town. So it was a great experience for me. I was able um, to leave Midland through my ventures of going to college at Texas Tech University and playing professional sports throughout the country. So going to all of those different areas and seeing different parts of the world and stuff like that, I was able to do all of those things until it brought me back to Midland. I guess my roots was in the oil field, where my dad had been running his own business for over 30 years now. And, my roots brought me back here and because it was a place that I'm from and I grew up knowing and everything, I just felt like it felt like home. It was home. And I still consider it home and don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, I like that because now you were involved in athletics all of your life.
Yeah.
So now, when you went off to tech and you were playing football, and then, of course, I even read in your bio where you had an opportunity to even experience a little bit of a pro football career.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
but you discovered that your heart was working with you.
Absolutely.
So talk about that. Talk about what you have created. Tell us about this business you have created.
Well, that's exactly right. Playing football all my life since I was in third grade, I've always loved it. I consider it, and I tell people it's the greatest team sport in the world because all 11 people have to be doing their job in order to be successful on the football field. So I consider it the greatest team sport in the world. So yeah, since I was playing in third grade all the way up to professional, I did have a stint with the Philadelphia Eagles where I made it to the last cut. And then I played arena football for like 7 years after that. After doing that, I got into coaching, and I just loved coaching. I loved carrying on the things that I learned throughout the game, and giving it back to the youth. So that's what I did when I moved back here. Initially it was to take over my dad's business in the oil field and things of that nature, but I wasn't happy. It was a good time. I was helping my dad and all of that, but it wasn't what I loved to do. And so when I got back, my brother and I actually started our company, Norman Elite. And what Norman Elite is we train kids ages 8 to 18 in speed and agility, strength and conditioning. And so that's what I've been doing since I left the oil field. I've been training, doing these trainings, and also running a full football organization where we have 4 teams in the fall and about 7 teams in the spring. Because we had a girls team in, because in the spring is just two-hand touch and it's not tackle or anything. So um, yeah, so that's what I've been doing, just doing that training, and also running the organization. We've been fortunate enough to be good at what we do and have good teams. We've had the best thing about it is having the opportunity to have these kids that normally may not be able to go out of the city of Midland, and being able to take them to places like California and in Florida and all of those places, going to the beach, going to Universal Studios and things of that nature. And, just getting an experience for these young kids so they can experience something outside of Midland. That's the greatest feeling in the world, being able to do that through what I've been doing in the past few years.
Wow, that is amazing because I have worked with youth in the community for a long time, and I have found that that's a missing link in our community sometimes, that we have enough things for them to do because people just think,
Right.
oh, well, they just go to school,
Mhm.
the school will do all of it. But we need more, really more activities
Absolutely.
for our kids. And where is your business located? And talk about the other things that you all offer as part of your Norman Elite business.
Well, right now, as it sits right now, I'm in between, brick and mortar locations because we just moved out of our old location over on Florida, and I'm transitioning and finding a new location. So right now, I've just been training at the parks and in different places like that when weather permits. But we'll get another brick and mortar location up pretty soon, hopefully, and that way we wouldn't have to worry about the weather outside. But along with with the training, uh, uh, along with it, what we created also was a curriculum. It was a life skills curriculum called a 3Cs program, and those 3Cs focus on character building, community outreach, and building life and academic champions. I had the opportunity, and I was blessed enough. Pre-COVID, I was in 3 schools actually teaching this curriculum, and the first part of the curriculum, which is the character building program. So the character building program consists of 6 principles that I teach of discipline, trust, respect, hard work, integrity, and accountability. And it's a 6 weeks course where I teach these to these kids once a week. We talk about what the particular or specific word means, and how we can related to our lives, not only on the football field or basketball court, but in life. And we feel like these 6 principles that we teach, if we abide by those, it'll allow us to have an opportunity to be more successful in life. It's not guaranteed, but it gives us a great percentage that if we abide by these 6 principles, it gives us a good opportunity to be successful in life.
What is the feedback that you're getting from parents or from community leaders about what you've been able to do with young people?
It's been good feedback. It's amazing. I've been doing it for a while now. To see uh, these youth that may come from broken homes, single parent households, or living with grandmother or something like that, and going through these programs, or just being in our organization, and us teaching these things. It's been great feedback from them. It's been positive. It's been, you know, we've had parents that come up to me and just thank me because they've never experienced anything like this with anyone else or another organization. And I think it's a lot of getting back to I was kind of raised old school, and it's kind of getting back to those old school ways of yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And just having respect for not only your family members, but your teachers in school. Having respect for strangers on the street, and not only all those people, but having respect for yourself. And so these are some of the things that we teach these kids, And hopefully that some, if not all, some of these things will stick with them, and it'll be something that they could, take with them as they move forward in life.
That's phenomenal. Well, you are such a good role model for them because, as I said, you have grown up in Midland, and I'm sure you hear it all the time. It's nothing to do in Midland. And I can't wait until I grow up and can leave Midland.
Yeah,
All of those
yeah,
things. But for you to be able to offer them the vantage point that you've left Midland and come back to Midland.
absolutely.
Have
Yeah,
something to offer. And it has so much to offer, in fact, until you went another further with commitment. That's a good word. Is that
yeah.
a good word?
Another thought.
Another further. And even put yourself out there to be a city councilman for the city of Midland. What were your goals and aspirations coming into being a council member? What was it you wanted to accomplish?
Well, it's funny because all my life growing up, I've never been interested or just even thought about anything dealing in politics. Um, I've always just kind of like a lot of people, well, all politicians lie and all of this type of stuff, and so I just had a bad taste in my mouth growing up. Um, so when the opportunity arose, I kept getting calls from different people. My predecessor was leaving early. He did half of his term, and he was leaving early. And I kept getting calls saying that I should run for city council. I should run for city council. And at first, I was just like, man, you know what? I don't even know what a city council person does. And so I kept ignoring it until right before time. Before you could put your name in the hat, I finally was like, okay, so I keep getting these calls from different people. It may be, the Lord trying to tell me something. So I started researching to see what a city council person does and see what the roles are and all of that type of stuff. And, I came to find out that, especially for local government, a city council person is really a go-between between the citizens and the staff, the city staff, and is basically serving the people. And I felt like that's what I was already doing. I was already out in the community doing community service, working with kids all the time. And so I saw being a city council person as another way to reach even more people. So I'm not only dealing with the kids, but now I'm dealing with our elders. I'm dealing with roads and parks and rec and all of these things, and being a voice for people who otherwise wouldn't be heard about or whatnot. I just saw it as a liaison for the community and the people within the community, so that we could get some things done within the city and being that voice. So when I got into it, there weren't any specific goals that I had, but I just knew I wanted to serve. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to be that person to help people, that be that person that someone could call on and get something done. Whether it's something as small as well, it could be small to some people, but it's big to others. But something as small as getting a new trash can put in the alley. Getting a certain road paved or anything like that. And just going through all of these things and learning. I'm still learning. I've only been in office 3 years. Excuse me. But I finished a year and a half of my predecessor, John Love, and then I got reelected not 2022 November, but 2021 November. So I'm going into my second year of my full 3-year term. So I'm still learning every day. It's a lot to learn. I don't think a person stops learning in a position like this, especially when you've never been involved in politics, never been involved in all of that type of stuff. It's a lot to learn and a lot to take in. But again, like I said, I love serving. I love helping people. And I think, I was put in a place in such a time as this.
Ooh, that's wonderful. And to be a servant of the community, because everybody goes into public office saying they want your vote and they want to serve you. And then we find out it ain't about us because they go on and do what they going to do. They don't be saying.
Absolutely.
So we really do need a lot more non-political people, I think, to get into office and really try to address the needs of the citizens and the residents that they serve.
Yeah, and to follow up with that, one thing that I've learned since being on council, there are 7 council members, including the mayor. So you have 2 at large, we have 4 districts, and then the mayor. And it takes 4 votes to get anything done. If something is to pass, it takes 4 votes for it to pass. Now, 5, 6, or 7 can vote for it, but as long as you have those 4 votes, you can get things done. And so I found that it's so important that we do get out and vote. We do get out and vote for people that have the same interests that we have. That way, when things are going on the dais, I'm only 1 vote up there. But if I have, 3 other council members that think like I do and want the same things that I want, then we can move things along within the district and within the city as a whole.
Oh, that's good to know. That is good to know. For those of you who are just now tuning in, I want you to know we are talking to the incomparable Mr. John Norman of Norman Elite, owner and CEO of Norman Elite. And we're going to be hearing a little bit more about some of the initiatives that he has started since he has been in office right after this.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Miss Annie from way down south. She's loud, she's fun, but you'd better watch out. Put on your seatbelt and take the rollicking ride with the unpredictable Miss Annie as she whips and turns and drives straight into your heart. Own it today at www.sueroseberry.com.
Yes, we are thrilled that we get an opportunity to talk to our district councilman for District 2 here in Midland, America. And he is the Mr. John Norman. He has a family and he's been doing great things, innovative things with our youth. And that kind of just led him along another further to going on and serving in city government. And John, talk to us a little bit about some of the initiatives that you thought needed to be started once you got in office.
Well, a few of the initiatives, I guess the first one that I'm thinking of now that comes to mind is, we have so many roads on the south side of Midland that have been underserved, and they needed to be paved, needed curb and gutter. It's been, I'm talking to one citizen, it's been since the late 70s when they were promised these things. And I'm proud to say that we got the city on the ball and started doing these roads and these streets and getting these streets paved and having curb and gutter. It's a lot of communities on the south and east side of Midland that don't that didn't have any sidewalks and things of that nature. So and it's an older community. So for someone to go out to their mailbox or something, or just take a walk down the street, that's very difficult to do when you don't have any curb and gutter, and it's flooded, and when it rains, everything is flooded. So working on that was my my the first thing that I believe one of those initiatives that I wanted to get on as soon as I got in the office. Another initiative was the Parks and Rec. Working with these kids. I'm very involved in the Parks and Rec, and I sit on the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission. One of the things about the Parks and Rec, no matter what sport we play, it's been well underserved on the east and south side of Midland. So I'm happy to say that we were able to get 2 full-size multi-purpose turf fields, the first multi-purpose turf fields put in on the east side of Midland. And we're working to get some more put in on the south side, and just building up the entire district. And the entire city of Midland, actually. Our kids went one year from stepping in prairie dog holes and stickers and ants and all of these types of things to now we have beautiful turf fields out there that we're able to, be safe and, have fun at what we're doing. So those are a couple of things that I'm happy to be a part of, and still moving forward with a lot of things, especially within the Parks and Rec, because to be honest with you, it's been a long time coming, to say the least. There are a lot of things that need fixing on the east and south side of Midland, and I'm glad to be a part of that, and glad that I'm able to have a say-so in what goes on.
That's fabulous. And then another thing that you started too, you didn't mention, you started a police advisory board.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I started a police after the Ty Anders situation that happened here in Midland. It was I felt it necessary to start a police advisory committee. The police advisory committee was mainly developed so that we as citizens can learn, what our police department does, and what protocols and things of that nature that they take, and so that we could have a voice in some of that, and in knowing what they're doing, and knowing what they're seeing when they go out on a stop or something like that, and just having better community relations with our police department. There's been so many things that have went on that I don't feel I guess I could say was right according to our police department. And so some of those things that can be addressed within that police advisory committee, and then hopefully moved on to the council, so that we can get some progression with these community relations that we have with the police.
And some of the time, John, I'm finding that people just want to know that they are heard.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to go the way that we want it to go, but we at least want to know that our issues are being heard.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, I would say, in the past, it's been a lot of, well, they're not going to do anything anyway, but I would say this, if there's something going on, especially with the police department, report it. If there's a crime being committed or something to you or around you, report it, because the more reports and things that we have, then the more that they have to look at it and be involved and like you said, hear what's going on. If nothing is being reported, then they kind of just go on to something else and move on down the line. But the more we report things, I think the better off we'll be, because we'll have things on paper to where we can move forward and do something about a lot of these things that's happening within our city.
And I will say that I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of that advisory committee. And it meant a lot to me just to get to hear what the chief and the officers were thinking about and how they want to approach the situations that we're facing as far as law enforcement. That meant a lot to me. And I felt some kind of way going in initially, but after getting an opportunity to really talk to them and hear what they were suggesting, it made an impact. And
Yeah,
they do care about our community.
yeah, and I think that's very important. I think just sitting down and being able to talk to one another. I'm kind of in the middle. Well, I'm a citizen first, but then I'm a council member who is over, I guess, overseeing the police department with 6 other people. But I think that's important that we all are sitting down and coming to the table and having dialogue and talking about different things that's going on. Because if we're not doing that, then we're just guesstimating and assuming different things. And the same for them. They are assuming different things from us. And so I think that by building that relationship and strengthening that relationship through dialogue, then we can move to the next step of actually getting things done. If we come to an agreement on something, then we can say, okay, well, let's go in and change this, or let's go in and do that, but we have to first have that dialogue and be willing to come to the table and sit down together, and then we can move things forward from there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Listen, we were talking a little bit earlier about the work that you're doing with young people. What would you, if you just had your way of everything we could have for young people in our community, what would be the one thing that you say is most key for us at this time?
To have for our young people?
Yes.
Well, I would say, me personally, which has been a lifelong dream of mine, is having a one-stop shop hub facility to where it would be a safe place for our kids and easily accessible as well. So when I mean what I mean by saying that is, for me personally, because I'm in sports, if we have a full size indoor multi-purpose turf facility that encompasses all the sports, and maybe not all the sports, but most sports that people play, like baseball, football, soccer, basketball, track, encompassing all of those sports and having a place where people can go. Because I remember when I was growing up, when I was little, we had a deal called Midnight Basketball, where it took place at I believe it's the United Methodist Church downtown. But it was a place that we all went, that it was a safe place, but we were playing sports. We were playing basketball, midnight basketball. Then we had the skating ring. We used to go to the skating ring, and so I believe by having this one hub of a place where kids can go, it'll be safe, and it's very much needed, because when you don't have these things, when you don't have the midnight basketballs or the skating rings and stuff like that, then kids tend to get in a lot of trouble, and it's just what's the what's the scripture about idle hands or the devil's workshop? So if we had this one facility or that everybody knew about, that anybody could go to at any time, I think that would be awesome for our youth.
Well, from your mouth to the ears of people who can make it happen, because let me tell you, there is enough money in Midland to do anything we want to do.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. So we just have to want to. Somebody has to propose it, and somebody else has to believe that's a good idea and buy into it. So I'm glad to hear that. One of the things that I think we're missing in our community, and I don't know if there have been plans from the city council, from the city government to address it. We only have one community center.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough community centers for the size population that we have. And then the community center, MLK Center, is only open for a limited amount of time. So who can go to it? We can't even go to it.
Right.
So that's another need in our community. Has that been addressed at all by the city government?
Yes and no. We've kind of addressed, expanding the community, the MLK Center, but also talked about building another community center / really basketball courts, because of the need for places to practice and things of that nature. So we've talked about two different things: expanding the MLK Center and making it larger, and expanding upon that, or building in another area of town, to where it'd be two separate community centers.
Well, we sure need it. And there are lots and lots of people who would actually use the community center that was open more hours than it's closed.
Yeah.
We have people having family reunions and meetings of organizations and nonprofit organizations. I'm a member of a nonprofit organization that doesn't have a brick and mortar, but we work in our community. And so the opportunity to have a space where you can go and meet and plan and gather and hold events and hold sessions, even like you're talking about, if it wasn't in the school, but to put the 6 principles out there for kids, or whatever it is that we're doing, we need that space in our community.
Absolutely. And it's it's funny you say that, because that's what I'll be doing in the spring. I've started my league, where we do 909, which is a kind of like a flag football league, for boys and girls. And I'll be teaching those 6 principles in the character piece of my curriculum at the MLK Center. We'll be doing that every Thursday evening at the MLK Center. And I've booked my personal family reunion at the MLK Center coming up this year. We have it on Juneteenth every year, and I booked it at the MLK Center for this year. So yes, it's being used, and but we do need more of them, so that we could have more people filling it up, and throughout different parts of the city.
And a commitment to maintenance.
Yeah,
hallelujah. Just thought I'd throw that out there for everybody in the back. A commitment to maintenance, because once if it's being used as it is by the public, that it takes a beating. It takes So we have to have a commitment to maintenance that will keep it in the kind of condition that makes it a viable place for us to use over and over again for many things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to John Norman, who is a city council member, and he's also doing innovative things with young people. John, tell us what you have coming up. You said you're going to do your summer, it's like a summer camp program.
Yeah, well, coming up in the spring, I've actually started my own league, and instead of 7-on-7, which is usually played in the spring, we're doing 9-on-9, 9 versus 9, and so 9 versus 9 allows us to incorporate our big boys or our linemen. A lot of times in the spring, it's just skill position players and things for skill position people to do. But with 9-on-9, we're including our big boys and giving them an opportunity to get out there and compete and go and try to win a championship as well. So that's what we'll be doing in the spring. So we'll be having 9-on-9, but it's for 5 and under is flag, and for 7U through 13U is 9 versus 9, and then we have a girls division also of a flag, which we had our first team last year. So this year ought to be more teams, but we had a 13U division. So this year we'll have a 13 and a 15U division for girls. So they get out there and they run around and compete. They have a great time. You ought to see those girls out there playing. So we have all of those different divisions that we'll be doing in 9-on-9 in the spring, which will start in April and last until the end of May. And then we go into the summer, and that's when we do our summer camps and things of that nature. We have our mini camps, and I know last year we had Loic Fungi, who's a receiver from Texas Tech, had a big bowl game a couple of days ago. He came out and signed autographs and all of that. We had about 300 kids at that camp last year, so it was a great time, man. And we plan on doing it again this year and having a good time as well.
Well, tell the people how they can get their youth involved in what you're doing. How can they get involved and be a part of what Norman Elite has going on?
Well, it's several ways. You can follow us on all the social media platforms, Norman Elite. That's where you can find all of my trainings and things of that nature. And then we also have our Midland Falcons organization. You can look them up on Facebook, and so we have that organization. And then we also have the Power Five Sports League. The Power Five Sports League is the hub of anything sports. So if you're looking for a basketball team, if you're looking for a track team, if you're looking for a baseball team, a football team, you can go to power5sportsleague.org, and it will be someone or some coach or something to where they can get you in contact with someone, or you can get with the teams that we have set up there. And that's power5sportsleague.org, but it's POW, the number 5 instead of E, and R, and then Sports League. So that's POW, the number 5, R, sportsleague.org. And that's like I said, that's the hub of all sports, and we want it to be the place to go when people think about sports in Midland.
Wow. Somebody put that in the chat. He'll say it one more time. I'm going to put a visual up so you can see it. There you go. Y'all follow John at
Yes, ma'am.
www.normanelite.com. That's the website. You can go there and it'll connect you to other things. And of course, his email is there, normanelite383@gmail.com. And there's a phone number for contacting them. And of course, the social media platforms are there on Facebook at john.norman.9026. And then on Instagram at Norman Elite. And if you put that in there, then shoot, if y'all can't find him that way, call the city, He's the city councilman. You are trying to find John Norman, but he's been so readily accessible to our community. And that's what I really love about you, John, that we have somebody who I feel like cares what the citizens actually think.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. I thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate you being on Moments with Mama Sue tonight. Before we give a closing remark from him, I want to remind all of you that we are on the first and third Monday of every month. We have some exciting guests coming up. And oh my goodness, y'all, we're almost to 3 years. Can you believe we'll be celebrating 3 years of Moments with Mama Sue in April? And I have a phenomenal guest on that program. So you guys stay tuned for that. I also want to invite you all to go over to my social media platforms and follow me. I want you to be a part of everything that I have going on. So please be sure to do that. If you like what I'm doing and it is helping you or you're encouraged by it, I want to invite you to support what we're doing. You can do that by Cash App at $Sue Roseberry. Any amount that you give, I'm going to put it into what I'm doing so I can do more and better. And then I also, if you don't have Cash App or don't want to use that platform, you can use Venmo at Sue-Roseberry-1. Or if neither of those give you a warm fuzzy and you're old school like me and say, child, I don't fool with that electronic stuff, well, then you can just drop a check in the mail at P.O. Box 51422, Midland, Texas, 79710. And I will be so excited. And above all of those things, would you continue to pray for me and just support what I'm doing? Because my goal and my desire is to see us really, really shine. And I believe that we're in a winning season for 2023. So I encourage you all to keep rolling with me. And whether I'm at the Southeast Senior Center or wherever I might be in the community, it's all about shining a light on this wonderful place that we call home and making it as great as it can be. So I thank you all for being here tonight, everybody that's been with us. Thank you, Mayetta, for putting that in the comments. She put it there for us. POW5rsportsleague.org. So that's boys and girls, right?
Yes, ma'am. It is co-ed, boys and girls. So we want to come one, come all. We want them all.
Right. Come one, come all. See, they should have had that when I was young and had desires to play football. But back in those days, there was no female playing football. So you see what I ended up doing.
It's okay because I wanted to play volleyball when I was in high school, but I couldn't because we was running track at the time. But I did like volleyball.
If you could give a word to us about interacting with our youth and how important it is, I'm going to let you have that final word before we close out the broadcast today, Joe.
Well, I know it's a old cliche that everyone has heard and probably tired of hearing, but it really is a true statement that the children are our future, and because we were children at one time, and we were the future of that time, and the children that we have today, they're our future for us, and our future for us to keep moving forward and in not only in the city of Midland, but in this world, in life. And it's important for us to continue to pass on the good and positive things that we've learned throughout our lives, so that they could carry it on into the future with them, and hopefully continue to pass on those good and positive things, and just weighing it out and crossing out the negative and continuing to focus on the positive. I think we'll be okay. A lot of people say that, this generation is this generation is that, but I think it's a lot of positive things, and we just got to continue teaching the right things in the right way, and I think we'll be okay.
That's good to hear. And of course, there were some other comments. When you get a chance, John, even after this is over, I'd love for you to watch this again when you have time and look at all those comments that are in there. And there are a couple of questions in there that you may want to address too. We've gotten to the end of our time. One of those questions had to do with our MLK facility, which really needs a facelift and needs that attention that we talked about, maintenance. But we want to continue to make our community thrive. I want you all to continue to roll with me. We'll have other civic leaders. I hope y'all enjoyed this because John was a good guest. Wasn't he good, y'all? Send up the heart. Wasn't he good, y'all? Y'all send up the hearts and emojis and all that. It was wonderful. We don't only do musical guests, but just all kinds of interesting people that have wonderful things to share with us. So thank you so much, John, for being with us tonight. Hang out with me just a second as we close. I want to find out before we close the end of the studio piece. But I will say to everybody as I close up tonight that I appreciate you so much for being here. I thank you so much for rolling with me on Moments with Mama Sue. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the third Monday of this month when I'll have another exciting guest and we'll talk, because connecting with you is the best part of my day. Woo! Now that's what I call a great show. Woo! We out of here. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Now we can do it a little better than that. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Well, all right, come on with it. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Wait. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Never know what to expect. Hey. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Ow. Moments with Mama Sue. Ow. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Moments with Mama Sue. Can't you? Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh. Well, now we might be done a little bit too much.